Good morning. There's a saying that children do learn what they live, then they grow up to live what they have learned. What does this saying mean? The saying trying to tells us that children develop in an environment for relationships, but the actual process of their development depends on the world around them. So, why am I trying to tell you this? It is because the quote relates to our topic that I will be going to discuss to you today. And to finally introduce to you my topic, the developmental and social factors. Developmental, from the word develop, it means a process or a progress of learning, and social factors means and relates to human society. So here are the objectives of this subject. At the end of, at the end of this lesson, the learners are expected to identify the developmental factors and social factors of the learners, adapt the learnings of the developmental factors and social factors of the learners, and lastly, supply the learnings in this discipline. So there are two guide questions that we'll cover up in this topic. So the first one is the what are the developmental factors, and the second, what are the social factors? So to finally point out my topic, let us first go to developmental factors. What are developmental factors? Developmental factors, these are the elements that can affect the learnings of the children, if it is a negative or positive. As individuals develop, there are many opportunities and constraints for learning. Developmental factors play an important role of learning, which development is the process of potentiality and becoming actuality. So for teachers, we need to know what, when, and how to develop students, develop their faculties. Encourage your children to make the greatest progress in the shortest time. The more we persevere and strive, the greater the progress and the development. So, there are four factors that can influence the development of the child. So, the first one is the individual development. It is a personal development by their own physical, intellectual, emotional, and social aspect in life. So, from the word personal development, it means to develop personal capabilities and potentials. So, for example, in intellectual or personal, I mean mental personal developments, so it means it is a development about growing your mind. For example, reading books, taking a class, and watching YouTube videos that are informational to improve your skills. And another example is social. In this category, it is all about improving your communication. For example, learning new language and practicing your English speaking skills and doing or committing to more active listening that can help with social development. Next, community factor. It is influenced by the environment. So learners are influenced by the environment on what environment they grow up or influenced by school, home, culture, or peers or friends. So, for example, community education. To raise awareness in the community, regarding to the nature of the problem and possible solutions. So let's go back. Let's proceed to parental involvement. It is influenced by parents. Parental involvement, or parental involvement rather, it is influenced by parents or older than the child on the way they discipline the child, if it is a good or bad. But parental involvement, it's not just about um, parents' involvement on how they discipline their child, if it is a good or bad, but there's an teacher and parent relationship involvement in this factor. So teacher I mean teacher who focus on parent engagement often see a profound change in their classrooms. The more parents involved in their children's education, the better their entire class's motivation, behavior, and grades become. Encouraging parent engagement is more than common courtesy. It's one of the best ways to create a positive learning environment for every student. So next and last factor of developmental factors is developmental differences. So developmental differences, children are influenced by developmental stages. So these are the children that are influenced by developmental stages with or without disabilities. If they are a person with disability, LGBT, clumsy, and other differences. All students are capable learners. You, as a teacher, must demonstrate that all students are expected to fully participate in all activities. And there is sometimes that you will want to offer options for students to choose from, but everyone should be involved in all activities and learning. So, for example, differentiate instruction. It's important to recognize that fairness and education doesn't mean that all children are taught in the exact same way. It means accounting for the needs of individual students and adjusting the curriculum accordingly. It allows you to provide individual instruction by changing the level of teaching to engage students' strength and interests. And a teacher will understand that their students come from diverse backgrounds and will have a unique personal and individual differences. So, understanding learner differences can be an overwhelming and a daunting task, but it is extremely essential so as to assure and ensure that all students are have an opportunities to be successful, and because students have different levels of motivations, attitudes, and responsive to specific classroom environments and instructional practices. Let's move on to social factors. These are influenced by group of people. So Social factors is a group of people who influencing one another through culture and subculture. It's either social class or family. So there are four influences that is relate to social factors. So the first one is the social interactions. Social interactions is how the learning can be enhanced when learner has an opportunity to interact and to collaborate with others in in instructional aspect. It is a relationship with others. So for example in this is group dynamics, group group works, and as well as group tasks. So those three examples have the opportunity to collaborate and interact with others. That's a social interaction means. Next, quality personal relationship. It is provided positive relationship with others, and it is the big impact for the learners to show their ideas, thoughts, and experiences. So there are some examples on of quality personal relationship, a positive relationship with others, and these are the companionship, affection, intimacy, attachment, love, friendship, trust, and etc. That is related to positive relationship with others. And the next one is family influences. It is a positive and negative relationship. So for positive relationship, parents put their child in every activities they make. And for negative relationship, parents reject their child and untrusting them. So a child's learning and socialization are most influenced by their family since their family is the child's primary social group. So let me share with you my example. The first significant way that influenced my life by growing up with my family is my personality, my kindness to the other people, good manners. Determined in my goals are some of the principles my parents have implanted me as I grew up. So that's how family influences me. And the next one, on last one, rather, positive learning climates. It is a healthy relationship. It is also like a quality relationship, the way of being positive to make learners feel safe to show their ideas. It can also help to establish the context for healthier level of thinking, feeling, and behaving. In a classroom climate refers to the mood, attitude, standards, and tone that you and your students feel inside your classroom. A positive classroom climate feels safe, respectful, welcoming, and supportive of a student. So, there are ways that can a teacher create a positive learning environment or climate. So, the first one is greet students at the door every day. Avoid judging. Get to know your students. Let your students know you. And be vulnerable. Being vulnerable develops trust faster than any other approach. Admitting your mistakes makes you human and makes more approachable. And it also sends us the message that it is okay to make mistakes inside the classroom. That's how we learn. And we learn from those mistakes and grow. Make a simple mistake and talk about how glad you are that you made this mistake because it taught you something. Discipline is the key for better development. And that's all for today. Thank you. And I hope you learn something in my discussion. Thank you once again. Good day.